Hello everyone, this is Heroes Trivia, and today we're starting a brand new Total War 3 Kingdom Let's Play on the channel, as we're playing Zhang, finally. He's the last of the base game factions that I have yet to play on the channel, and there are good reasons for that, as we had a bandit rework early on in the game, and then we didn't really go back to them, and his mechanics play the simplest of all three bandit factions in the game. We're going to be trying him in the year 200 Fates Divided DLC start, because I think this is the most challenging start for him, and we like challenges nowadays. We'll also be trying a few mods. As you can see, his wife Zhang has artwork. We're using mainly artwork based mods such as MTU, TUP, WDG2, and those mods are listed in the description below with links to the workshop as well as the load order for them to work. Now, the reason why we're not using any overhaul mods is because I'm playing the faction for the first time here on the channel, and I would like to showcase its intended playstyle without overhauls to the game. His playstyle is rather simple, as mentioned before. It focuses mainly on ambushes and diplomacy. Now, ambush is the main core playstyle. There's no fancy resources here. All he has is he can offensively ambush in fights. So when you attack with the army, you can set it as an ambush fight with a certain percentage, same as ambush rate. So there's always a chance of you triggering a battle as an ambush, which gives you more flexibility in your approach in these fights and advantages from that ambush setup. That will dictate most of our playstyle here, and will feature many of his unique unit. He has 3 of them, which are Black Mountain Marauders, Black Mountain Outlaws, and finally Black Mountain Hunters. They're available at rank 1, 3, and 5 for all classes of generals under his command. And to be honest, I think the Marauders and the Outlaws are the only 2 that's worth getting. The range variant here, the Hunters, despite being the highest rank unlock unit, is rather weird, as they're sort of a mix between a range unit and a melee unit with a lot of range unit stats, which holds them back. And we'll take a look at why that is the case once we do get into game. The other aspect of his playstyle is diplomacy, and that goes with his unique government building, which can only be built at his capital. There are 3 branching paths for this building that you can choose from, with one focus on relationship with the Han Empire factions, which is the most relevant to us in this start date, as well as public order bonuses and underling limit. Underlings are administrators for bandit factions, so think of it as additional administrators. Or we can go the military route with more army limit and loot income. Or lastly, there is a yellow turban route, even though I would argue this is the least flushed out route for this faction, as diplomatic interactions with yellow turbans is rather limited in the game to begin with. You cannot recruit their generals. It does increase your spy limit, so that might help if you're going for a spy playthrough, but in general this last option feels the most underdeveloped of the 3. I think we will either go the military route if we are going to be a standalone bandit group, or if we are going to try to play diplomacy games between Cao Cao and Yuan Shao's war, we might go with the diplomacy relationship with Han faction with the first route. We'll see and gauge which option benefit us the most before choosing the branches between this building. Lastly, we have access to Mercenary Treaty, as do all bandit factions. We can basically fight other people's war and earn money per turn doing so, and this is definitely something we're interested in doing to give ourselves additional income, items, as well as alliances during those 20 turns of the Mercenary Treaty. Aside from that, there is not much to cover. We are given a few characters, most of them very fictional. Historically speaking, Zhang was the leader of the Black Mountain Bandits. The only noteworthy character from the group, aside from some earlier bandits that were mentioned in the raids, was basically his son, who eventually received his titles since Zhang will surrender to Cao Cao, and basically swear loyalty for a reward of a general title and I believe a marquis title. And he will pass those on to his son Zhang Fang, who will also start with, thanks to the artworks of the mod. Now, the mod changes did mess up the family tree. I know there is an overhaul TUP mod that will fix the trees for pretty much all the factions, and it becomes very extensive for the family tree. I'm opting away from that, but if you're interested in checking that one out, definitely just search up family tree for TUP and you'll see a very extended mod that you can use. It requires some scripting because you have to trigger events for the family member to join all of the different factions in the game, and that just becomes quite messy. So I decided to just stay away from that, since our family member, it's not that important that they start as family. If we have extra money, we can always just marry our wife again and adopt our son to make the family tree look right. And for bandits, you don't need to be family to be second in command as heir. So our son starts off as our heir regardless, so it's going to work out just the same. As a character, Zhang Yan is quite powerful. He has the stubborn trait, which gives him unbreakable. His unique armor gives him fatigue immunity, which makes him the rare combination of fatigue immune and unbreakable. Very good general on the field. Careless, not so much. Can't avoid ambushes. This does not hurt your ambush chance. So just think of this as a little bit of extra instinct. Punishes your cunning a bit. Greedy. It's not really relevant for us because we don't have desire for higher office as faction leader. We're also not going to become administrator or underling in this case as a faction leader. So the corruption for administered commandery also does not apply. It adds 6 points of authority, which actually is a positive. We have plenty of resolve to lose. So overall, these doesn't really hurt him. Having stubborn and greedy balance itself out does kind of make things interesting. We basically only get 2 points of resolve and 2 points of authority from both of these, but the main benefit is the unbreakable. I believe greedy is a trait that you can reroll using faction council, which I believe are available to the bandits. I could be wrong there because we have not played bandits since that update. It might be only Han faction. If that is the case, then we are not going to be able to reroll the greedy. But like I said, it's not going to impact our playthrough that much. The map. This is the most difficult part of this start. We are starting surrounded by enemies. These are Yuan Shao's faction and his vassals, and they are all at war with us. We have lost our base in the Black Mountains. We are starting at a farmland in Julu, the place of the Yellow Turban Rebellion, and we have to fight our way to reclaim the mountains. Of course, Yuan Shao is engulfed in his war with Cao Cao, but the AI, given the chance, will focus down on the player, so we're going to have to deal with him quite a bit. Our faction bonuses from our background is going to be ignore forest penalty, plus 50% post-battle loot income, which is actually quite good. This is going to supplement most of our income early on by fighting, and plus 3 starting rank for all our unique units. This one becomes quite powerful because our son has the same bonus. He is a chip off the old block. He has the same exact bonuses as us. As he is heir, we'll get double all these bonuses, so we technically will have plus 6 rank. If we get any sort of building or reform, which is a different story, we have very interesting reform tree. We could start potentially with rank 10 Black Mountain units. It's definitely a possibility, and that helps a little bit. We get 10 points of morale, 10 points of attack rate, which that one's the most massive, and I believe 10 points of evasion, which is also pretty massive. So it's nice to have, as we are going to be charging with our infantry quite a lot in these ambush battles to start. But like I said, the start is very challenging because we're surrounded by so many enemies, and we're going to have to fight our way out of it. We'll be playing this on Legendary 40-minute battle timer as usual. So let's get started.
天道不公，公孙瓒兵败身亡。大王，您也被赶出了黑山的容身之处。奸贼袁绍仍然对您紧追不舍。他的意图是一统中原以北，之后再与曹操一决雌雄。大王可选择南进，托庇于曹操，也可趁曹操疲于应付袁绍之际，窃取他的一块领地。大王，群山一向待您不薄，此次进山或许能逃过一劫。 等到恢复元气，可以拿高干小试牛刀，夺回您的家园。目下，您已是四面楚歌，我等去设法逃出袁绍的手心，再徐徐图之。
Alrighty, so the situation. Zhang Yan, your isolation has left you bereft of allies, and your notoriety as the king of Black Mountain has painted a large target on your back. Back into a corner, enemies close in on you from every direction, with Yuan Shao bearing down you from the east, Gao Gan pressing from the west. The situation is dire, and your options are decidedly limited. Cao Cao may be your only chance to gain a powerful ally, and with Yuan Shao as a common foe, you might have a chance to earn his favor. Yet if the heady sway of ambition calls, there is an opportunity to be seized. The war between Cao Cao and Yuan Shao distracts them both, providing you a chance to boldly steal their land from underneath them. A perilous risk for one in such precarious position, but the greatest risks often yield the greatest reward. So, looking at this risk, we are starting out in the north, in the Julu County, in Anping Commandery, and we're surrounded by Yuan Shao's land to our east and northern borders, and we have Gao Gan to our west. Now, probably the most lucrative piece of land in the north is going to be Taiyuan and Hedong, both deep in the mountains, which we like, so we probably will head that way first, retake our base. I believe Yemen is currently abandoned. I don't think anyone has control of it, or at least Yuan Shao does not have it. So it's not at war with us, and we could head that way to take it. Our roster is rather limited, and most of them are not historical characters. We have Zhang Yan here. As I mentioned before, we are King of the Black Mountains with these bonuses that will help us out. These are nice faction-wide bonuses, plus 5% of ambushing for our own army. Our son, Zhang Fang, Prince of the Black Mountain, has a clone of our kit. I believe there's a small difference. Does he not get... Oh, he gets the same thing. He is a chip off the old block. Even have our same stat boost. Indeed. He's also stubborn, greedy, but instead of being careless, he's determined, so more stats for him. He's also a commander with a unique armor in this mod, and the armor grants him night battle and plus 4 morale when attacking, both very useful for our offensive ambush playstyle. So we'll be using our son and featuring him quite a lot. Now we spoke of, or the flyby spoke of, Gong Sun Zan's demise, and yes, these two were allies. Gong Sun Zan did ally himself with Zhang Yan and the Black Mountain Bandits in the war against Yuan Shao, and asked for reinforcements when he was about to get attacked in his final position at Yijing. Unfortunately, the reinforcement did not arrive in time, and the letter sent to the Black Mountains and how they would meet up was intercepted by Yuan Shao. So Yuan Shao used the same code, or I believe was holding something by fire, to trick Gong Sun Zan essentially, and it made the situation even worse actually. Regardless, those were very loose alliance based on common foe. Both groups fought Yuan Shao. They were not close, nor have they ever met, so we can generally ignore that. Our wife is called Queen of the Black Mountains. No bonus whatsoever. She is not historical. There's no record of who Zhang Yan's wife was, what her name was. Zheng Lan is just made up by the game. She has a unique armor here as well. It's bounded. It gives minus 25% fatigue rate, basically resists fatigue, or heals back quicker, I believe, or slower to get tired, I think is the best way to put it. She does not, unfortunately, have Poison Volley, which is standard to all Bandit Sentinels, which makes her a lot weaker. Her bonus that replaces it, Shadow of the Black Mountain, gives herself a speed boost, ignore ground type, and hidden. So basically she becomes hidden, which is better than stock. I believe hidden doesn't expose themselves unless you get really close. You can give her a bow. I think it covers snipe as well. It's nice, but it's not Poison Volley. I'd rather have Poison Volley. We also have a problem where everyone in court hates us. because Desire for Higher Office is kicking in. Everyone starts at rank 2. The other two general we have is Ping Qi, not historical, generic pillager, bandit character, not impressed. Traits, I mean, 10% melee evasion is good. That is actually pretty good, especially on a Vanguard character, but it's not going to carry him against a Sentinel, so there's nothing to cry about if we lose him. And then Wang Dang, Scheme of Heishan. Fancy title, but the background bonus is the same as a generic strategist for the bandits, so there's nothing special here either, and he's not historical either, so we can let them go, especially since he's greedy, which makes the situation even worse for his Desire for Higher Office. He does start in our army, which is a very, very sad and very, very small army. We have one unit of our Black Mountain Marauders. We're probably going to have to delete all our units because it doesn't make sense for us to carry them since we can recruit new ones at a much, much higher rank. Rank 7, because our son is our heir. So that just makes the unit a lot better than what we have here, just from the stat increases from the level up. In this case, it's not that significant because you can see here it's only 38 points of morale versus 36. I think it will go up once we put him on here. We can just pop that real quick. I don't want to click it off, even though we are going to end up doing it. We might do it with a bit of changing of the titles. We have to try to save money. We don't have cash. I also want to get a marriage through because we currently don't have a family tree, even though we have a son who bears our name, and it's called the Prince, and we have a wife. We don't have any of that. We're single and ready to mingle, but we'll get these marriages through and adoption through when we have cash. 2,000 for the marriage, 4,000 for the adoption. So extra 6,000 costs incoming. Thankfully, next in line does not require the person to be our kin. So we can assign our son here, which is nice. He has the best bonuses because he has our bonus. We basically get to double that. We're probably going to end up switching his weapon here just because we need more authority, and hopefully that does not change the satisfaction, unfortunately. So maybe we give him something with more damage. The dual sword, despite the damage type, if you read it, it has more damage and it has better speed of animation for the attack. So it's actually a very good weapon. If it's not going to change his authority, we might as well go with that. What items did we get? We got a Master Craftsman, which will increase industry income. That's going to be very handy. And the extra expertise from the will boost our melee evasion for the character, right? It was escaping me, which is not very high for Zhang Yan. It's very sad. We're not a very powerful character. And as leader, we're looking for authority. That gave us 5 points. I guess that's good enough. Then we could shore up our expertise a bit more. 9 point of melee evasion. Imagine without the bonus from expertise, we'll be at 5%. It's pitifully low. Our son, I think, can pick up some instinct. I'm going to try to shift him into the army. It's going to be expensive to summon him onto the field. We might keep Wang Dang just to get him killed. He does have resiliency. Why do you have resiliency? From your background title. That's not good, actually, because we want to summon our son for free. And you can't do that when you have resilience. You have to kill him twice. Tricky. And we can take a look at the units. We mentioned that these 3 are unique units. You can tell by the rank up here. The 2 that I think are worthwhile are Black Mountain Marauders. Cost around 600 plus per unit. Upkeep of 185. Quite pricey. You get Twin Axe. Causes Scare. That's the main thing. For all your regular fights, Guerrilla Deployment. For your ambush fights, you basically have Guerrilla Deployment anyway, so it's not relevant. But Scare is very relevant. Axe damage is very good at taking out shield evasion. It doesn't have a lot of defense, 7% armor, but 50% evasion. That part is good. Attack rate is quite high, especially for dual weapon animation. 144k health, very standard. We are playing on extreme once again. Going to feature massive amount of bandits. So 144k. all the numbers going to be kind of doubled from large if you're playing on large. Damage is very heavily skewed towards armor piercing, which is great. 162 charge, all very good stats. So for ambush fight, they're pretty essential. And you want to kind of scare the weaker enemy unit away. Maybe night battle plus ambush, add a little fire, route the weak unit, chain route, and win the fight that way. For the Black Mountain Outlaws, obviously having a spear gives you the option of countering enemy cavalry in the future for other types of fights, or maybe just have them run to you in the forest. The attack rate is going to be a little bit slower for the spear, but the weapon damage is more heavily skewed towards armor piercing, which technically makes them stronger. You get bonus against large, or cavalry in this case. The charge is a little bit weaker, which makes sense, since spear units tend to be more stationary, but for our faction, we pretty much want to rush the enemy in all cases. So just think of this as good damage against enemy cavalry. If you're rushing their cavalry unit in ambush, this will be the unit you want to send to do the job. Then finally, we have the most advanced tier 1 at rank 5 unlock, and a jump in price. Quite a big jump in price. We're talking about almost a third, 30. It's actually, I think it's a little bit less than 30% jump in the increase of the upkeep, which is the significant price you want to think about. And what you get here, if you look at the unit health, is we have the health of an archer and even less than the bandit hunter, which absolutely make no sense because we're not even a small unit size. We just have less health per unit here. And we are getting faster fire rate, but the same ammo count of 8. Or actually, that's damage. Sorry. You get 6 more ammo. Go to 28. That's not impressive. And you have 25 base damage, 8 armor piercing. So you're having the same range damage as a bandit hunter with less health. You're equipped with axe. So you have the 33 attack speed. You have similar charge. It's a little less. But your damage is much less in melee. 7 and 19 versus 16 and 36. Not even close. Not even close in melee. You have much less evasion. So in ambush fight, are these guys going to be sitting back and just shooting poison arrows? Then they're very expensive doing that job because you can do the same with 1 or 2 unit of bandit hunters. So they just have a very limited role in the army in my opinion. I'll just stick to these 2 if we're going to focus on ambush battles. And even when you're not focused on ambush battles, I don't see the benefit of paying for these guys. I think it's just better off going for the 2 melee type and ignore this guy, as he doesn't do a great job as a range unit and also doesn't do a great job as a melee unit, but costs way more. Alright, so that's settled. We have to kind of fix our satisfaction somehow. Most likely fire them. I think keeping him for the extra turn, hoping that he would die, and then allowing our son to come out, it's just going to be more expensive. So let's fire them. We could try banishing. It's going to be tricky because we will lose satisfaction. I believe our son's going to be fine because he's currently heir, but our wife. If we banish 2 and don't summon her, she might leave us. We could also spend the banishment money on her through a marriage, kind of pay for the wedding, and then she will be family members. We don't have to pay the salary. So in the long run, since we're keeping her for story purposes, she's not useful. I think that's just a tough pill we have to swallow. Now she does have high expertise, so she will be a good underling once we do get ourselves an underling count, and as well as a settlement that we can call home. So let's do that. Let's go the expensive route and go banish Wang Dang and Ping Qi. We'll pick up 1,600, which doesn't pay for the entire wedding, but it will pay for part of it. And we'll adopt our son, which is super pricey, 4,000. It's way too pricey, but we'll do it just to get the family tree back together. And we're basically nepotism at this point, as we only have family members. The wedding does boost the satisfaction by 15, marry into a ruling family. I should be concerned about turncoats. I think that is a thing. What do we do with her, though? She is probably not coming into the army. I'm going to have to cancel these units as we don't need them. We need better ones that have higher rank. We're going to be trying to take this settlement first because iron mine's much better defensively for us to hold, and also industry income is something we want. So we want to get close. We need to stay in our land because we want to recruit. No one's home. Very few units. We could force it. We have enough to summon both. Yes, we do. We actually have just enough change to get both of them out on the field. And then it'll be 3 of us plus a few units that we're not going to keep. But we'll basically have 3 generals do this fight for us against 4 very basic unit, which I think is the way we have to go here. We're not going to keep the units because that way we don't have to pay the upkeep. Also, we'll get more movement and we don't have to stay in our territory this turn. We can't reach them regardless. It's going to be a 2-turn type of travel situation. But we do move faster with just generals. Looks like this is empty as well. Much bigger garrisons, higher tier, harder to take. Plus, it's not as lucrative for us as the iron mine. So we'll take that first. Now, Julu, I think this is a location that we're going to lose. I don't intend we can fend off what Yuan Shao starts with, especially with our economy. It does generate income. We cannot change tax rate until we're higher faction rank. Speaking of faction rank, we are still on the old prestige system. I don't think we get to choose our upgrades. As you can see, they're predetermined. Once we do get to Bandit, we'll get 2 underlings, 4 army counts, 2 assignment slot, 1 trade, 1 spy, and we can adjust tax level at that point. So we need some prestige point, we need some land, and these numbers will go up as we move up towards Bandit King. That's pretty much it. It's a very simple faction. We don't really have any faction mechanic. We have 1 spy to start with, which is nice. Our reform tree, it's shared between all the bandit faction, but it's very nice. This is a very geography-based sort of a underworld crime network that we have. And since we are in the year 200, we do start with some that are finished. So Warden of Wangwu Mountain, we pick up these bonus here with ranged units, satisfaction for strategists, and so forth. Also enable us to recruit 1 Han regular archer. These special unit that we'll pick up, we'll try to use sparingly, especially the Han units. I don't think they really fit our playstyle, but there are some nice cavalry options, especially since we are in the north. So here, I think we get a couple of Xiongnu cavalry. That will be probably one of our stronger cavalry options in the game, as bandit cavalry are really bad. We also get decreased upkeep for them, plus 5% loot. That's a special resource for the armies that we have to balance, which we'll take a look at later. Healers of Qizhou, very good. 5% replenishment, that's always great. 5% corruption reduction, always great. 5 points of public order, definitely helps. On top of that, we also get some horseback huntsmen. Very cheap yellow turban units. They're not very strong. Their melee is so bad. Their charge is so bad. They're only good at harassing. And the only thing that makes them kind of feasible is that they're cheap for a cavalry unit. But I doubt we'll use them. Then here we have recruitment discount for spear infantry as well as upkeep. It's unlocking our own unit. This is for other bandit factions. For us, we have unlimited amount of Black Mountain Outlaws as long as we hit rank 3 with our general. So that's not really relevant. We also picked up this one here, Xianbei Confederation, so a couple of Xianbei riders. Obviously, we lack cavalry, so these are all good. Some extra bonuses for cavalry. White Wave Bandits. The White Wave Valley is in Hedong, so this area is right. And then we end up with these recruitment cost discounts plus 10 charge. And we have White Wave Veterans from the Yellow Turbans here. So overall, we can kind of decide where we're going. The grayed out one means we hold at least 1 piece of the commandery, and it will boost the research rate based on how many pieces you hold. We can always get more research rate just as a base value from buildings. It would just basically discount. So this would regularly be 4 turns because we have 1 county. We reduce a turn, we're at 3. And we can get it to 2, and then we have faster research rate. We can get it even lower to 1. I don't need this, actually. Sure, right now it's cheaper because it's a piece of land that we currently hold, but it's a piece of land we're going to lose. So in the future, it will get more expensive. But this is not going to help us. Population growth, faction support, corruption reduction for 1 county, no point. Yellow Sky Herald, also not that great. I think what we want to do, just from the ones close by, not thinking too far ahead, is pick up Southern Xiongnu. Not only do we get more Xiongnu unit, but the 15% campaign movement I think is huge. And we can pick up another 15% down here. Both of these are quite expensive in terms of turn because we are in a commandery here with 4 counties, so you can technically reduce that cost down by quite a bit if you hold them. Unfortunately, they're quite far from us, so we'll have to spend the full 8 turns most likely. Aside from that option of just picking up more movement on the map, I think getting an early underling position plus 10% commerce and industry is also quite good. Construction cost discounts also quite good, so we have to go this route. Morale when defending, that doesn't really apply, but it's also an 8-turn route, so we're like planning way into the future, 12 turns here to pick up this. That feels a little long, which is why I kind of don't want to do that. Decrease construction on mine, given that we're about to pick up a mine, also something we can consider. But I still think this is the simplest. We get more campaign movement range for all our armies. We get extra morale for shock cavalry, which typically suffer from not that high of morale, so 5 points actually pretty significant. Let's just get that going. We can reach that next turn, no problem. We don't have any potential trade partners. We can have a peace partner. Do we even have diplomatic view of anyone else? We don't. Everyone we can see absolutely hates us and at war with us because they're part of one liege under Yuan Shao. If we break through and find Duchy of Wei, we could maybe ask them to vassalize us, and then we'll get out of this war, or at least be protected in that war in a sense, and have more diplomacy options. But right now, we are just going to fight our way into the mountains and pick up some land. I think that's the only options we have. And that's everything. Our wife's unhappiness, we can sort of solve. She's going to be administrator, so this might be relevant if we get a foreman. Let's add that in, put her at 24. If we can get 1 more point, we'll feel better about it. But I don't think we can. I don't think we can. Yeah. That's fine. Let's continue. It's going to be a pretty straightforward faction. The fights would be the most interesting part, as we can ambush quite a lot, which is a rather new playstyle. Prove ourselves to be more than a simple bandit by reaching the faction rank of bandit. So we prove ourselves more than a bandit by reaching the rank of bandit. There's definitely some logical flaws there. Alright, this is not going to be a hard fight. As you can see, we can even get the delegate victory, which I think we'll just do, because it really doesn't make a difference for us. We are going to stay here for a bit, build up our army, and then move into the mountains. So whatever amount of damage we take here can be easily healed up. Now we do have these options. The iron mine, I think, is quite valuable, so whatever level it is, I think it's level 1, just because of garrison. We don't want to downgrade it. Reducing a level would be kind of bad if it's a level 1. We have to rebuild the whole thing. The loot counter is going to be quite important. And for those who are unfamiliar with bandit factions, we have this loot bar instead of military supplies. And this loot bar basically will shift our bonuses. When we carry a lot of loot, as you can see here, we lose campaign movement. So what we need to do is actually step out of the settlement and change our stance into sharing the spoils, giving up that loot, and we'll boost food production from banditry, we'll boost income from banditry, and boost our replenishment, which will basically solve our big problem here. And we'll spend that loot that we picked up to get these bonuses. They're still healing a little bit too slow. So what we're going to do is actually just recall these two. And once we summon them, they will be ready and fully healthy. I have a little bit of spending money on us. We don't want any movement. Can we cancel his movement? I think we can. I think we just backspace it. Yep. So what we want is summon some units for him. That's the tough part, because we can maybe buy 4? No, we can buy 3. That's not a lot, so that's a problem. We also need to convert this, or else we get no prestige points. The income is the same, but we get faction-wide bonuses for a lot of things from our counties. So counties are very powerful. We also get a sub-county building that can boost our income. That can give us additional prestige. All of them give additional prestige. This one gives a little bit extra, but we have to pay a bit extra. I think Mustering Ground early on will be the one we'll use, mainly because we want to mess up with nearby enemy commanderies' public order. Maybe spawn some rebellions. We also want the 10% replenishment. So if we have this in Taiyuan, in both of the counties, Cao Cao's here. Okay, that complicates things a little bit. But do we have diplomatic vision of them now? We do. Let's see what we can get here. So we are in a war with his enemy, and that's pretty much all the positive we have. We can offer him a contract to fight this war that we're fighting anyways, and he can pay us doing it. Now, because this is turn 2, all the items he started out with, oh, we have one here. All the items he started out with are gone, are equipped, except for this one, which he can't find a buyer for, a person to hold. This is the other option if we get desperate. We basically become his vassal, and he can sort of offer us his bonuses in terms of his faction strength for us to make deals. He could snatch our son in Faction Council event, which is terrible. Cannot combine anything. We'll just have sort of this mercenary relationship for now. This payment will be good for 20 turns, which is longer than the usual 10. So it's worth extra, basically. I don't know how greedy we can get here. Not really greedy, huh? Maybe 111? We can do this. As you can see, we can gain all that strength from him. And we gain vision of other factions. We can only have one contract active at a time. The other tricky part about this contract, we could join his alliance. He's part of Yuan Shao's alliance. That would not work. Sun Ce can also become... we have to pay them. Liu Bell. We have outs, essentially. Zhangjiang, 0.7. That's not going to cash out to anything, so that's not really worth it. Aside from showing a little bit of bandit unity. Do you have extra items? No. I do not need to offer you tribute. I can give her 1 food. But she's gonna be poor, isn't she? Oh no, she makes a little bit of money. Why not? Alright, so for us to fulfill this contract, we have to go after Zhongshan. Yemen's abandoned, which is not good because it's 8,000 to colonize. If someone would colonize that for us, we don't have to pay the 8,000. So hopefully someone goes and pick it up. We're going to be building out our army to attack Zhongshan. We can still afford 3 units. It's gonna be tricky. These two are quite similar. One has a higher recruitment cost, one has a higher upkeep cost. The ratio is very similar. I don't think there's a big difference for us. We might do a mix of both. Poison arrow for own retinue. Poison is powerful, especially if we can get some stalk and snipe combo going. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything that pushes us one way or another with the units on his skill tree. That's all we can afford. Next turn we can pick up... Okay, I want to pick them up in the same turn, so we're not going to pay for it. So we'll pick up all 6 next turn, or else if we pay them now, we can't pick up the other 3. We'll run out of money. Alright, that's pretty much it. Let's continue. Now, we're not tearing down Anping, mainly because bandit farms generate banditry income, so it's not a negative income county. Very useful. You can see 2 food, 75 banditry income. It's actually 4 food spread across 2 different types of food. One type that can be boosted with the loot, one can't. We can still share the loot. As you can see, if we run out of loot, satisfaction becomes a problem. And then we have to raid for more loot. You can raid your own land, I believe? No, not your friendly territory. We have to raid enemy territory. The satisfaction, I think it's on the commander and perhaps the people in the army as well. 15 points might be a bit hefty, but we're going to have to stay put. Hold on, let me get him inside the commandery. We got this. 500 for mustering ground. The replenishment is going to be worth it in my opinion. 15-point hits with the loot level. We're not going to gain any loot this turn, unfortunately, so that's going to stick. 6 units is beyond our reach, I believe. What we can do is give her a title first. General of the left. Reduce our recruitment cost a little bit, and that little bit is going to do wonders. So let's do 2 of these and 4 of these. And after that's done, we switch to General of the right, and we get to reduce the upkeep as well. And she's also happy, so all things considered, that's a win. And then we'll use the 10% replenishment to boost this. We should be fine. They should be ready with 36%, probably in 2-3 turns, and then we'll take this army to try to tackle Zhongshan, which has 2 stacks of retinues. This is only level 3. It's actually quite weak with Xia Zhao guarding it. If we go for that first, we kind of drain our contract date, but there's still plenty of time for that. We get paid extra for finishing the contract, so we might consider doing it. But we'll see. We have to pay. Now you don't have to worry. Oh. He wants Taiyuan. No way. We don't have to worry about being annexed because we are a bandit subculture. He is a Han subculture. They just can't annex us. We're about to lose our base. Look at this. Yuan Shao is not focused on his war against Cao Cao. He's focused on us. Two more turns. Now at this point, we can get 300 quick cash out here because no army is going to stand up to that. And we can get 300 back. We get 300 back. You can't downgrade it anymore. Slowly growing. We get more movement when we lack loot, but we do hurt everything else. We don't have enough for that, but we will have enough next turn. Characters. Ooh. With the artworks, this is going to be pretty interesting. Comes with a stone pig. Wait, Wenqing. Huh. Because we do start in the year 200, we're going to get a lot of later Chenji. We're going to get a lot of later generation generals. I mean, he's going to end up working for Cao Cao there, but we have to be careful about where we spend our money. I think early on, the only type of characters we might consider recruiting are bandits that are sentinels with poison volley. And looking at the icons on top, we are not going to get faction council, so no reroll of traits. Wenqing, vain, arrogant, and ambitious. Zhong Changyi. Nope. These are mostly Han generals. A lot of stubborn generals. A lot of unbreakable characters, but none of them are really gonna fit our bill. She's the only sentinel, but she is a Han general as well, so not worth it. We're just gonna stay put. I don't think there's any diplomatic options that we have. Cao Cao is willing to take us on. Nobel is very willing to take us on. The banishment should go away. Loot level should go away. We don't have to worry about it. Let's just continue. He needs 2 armies for that? That's actually a fight. So we had our fight with Yuan Shao already. I don't think it said we had to win. We just had to engage them. Zhang Lu. Not paying for anything. We did lose our source of food, and we used food in diplomacy. We're gonna have to worry about that somehow. Now this negative food is going to cause problems. We might have to get this regardless. The contract point went up, but I don't think we finished that mission. We do have to win it. Defeat one of their armies. We get paid 1,000. If we lose 10% mustering, we'll still be full health. I think we're going to move to about... Let's see, where's the river crossing here? Here. That's a bummer. I guess we don't need to wait for it. We're basically racing against time. I don't think he has an army here. This is just against the garrison here, which also means we don't get to ambush him. This will be the fastest way to get that fight. Oh, we need movement to raid. 25%. We'll be okay. We need to pick this level up just to get that second stack. 4 turns. We can rush this potentially next turn because we need it ready and start mustering as quickly as possible. I don't know how persistent he will be in terms of chasing us, but he'd probably come here first. We can take this just for the land, raid it real quick, not keep it, or at least reduce the level down a little bit for future fights because that's too many units. Let's continue here. Oh, I like Cao Cao's build up here. Mao Jie. Where's Du Ji? Du Ji is the one in Hedong at this time, taking care of everything. If we get desperate, we can always become a vassal.
不会与你为敌的。那就如此吧。
All right, so we're getting a gift from our contract. We can ask for both by paying a bit of fame and fortune. As long as it doesn't run to 0, we're fine. So give us the money and give us your item. Strategies of the Warring States, guerrilla deployment. Not very relevant for us. I mean, satisfaction items, not bad. We can always trade it. He did not move up, so we have some time. Let's take Zhongshan. We're probably going to fight this one, try to keep things a little bit cleaner. Alrighty, so we're back here because we had our first crash even before we loaded into the fight, even before I hit the fight. So that's a bad sign. These mods might cause a little bit of stability problem. Hopefully it won't happen. We're going to be fighting this one. Let's go. We don't have any damage abilities on the general. At least nothing that clears infantry, especially on extreme, when the infantry has 240 per unit. So we're going to be relying on our infantry quite a bit for this. We do get an open field fight, which is lovely. They do have archers. I might just try to close the gap. Maybe come from the forest a little bit. Like from an angle here. We can distract the archers in a sense. She can start up here. We can't. Now Into the Breach is actually quite good. Mending's not half bad either. Yeah, we're gonna get shot. It's okay. It is what it is. We'll try to harass a few of them. Can't get the bonus on. We should charge him out. Chase some of the range units, please. Night battle plus the scare. It's gonna chain route most of them, hopefully. And that should be how our fight would go. I believe we have all of them routed. There we go. We don't actually have to fight much. Just scare tactics. How are our axe units looking? Not too bad. I think our son is dismounted. Ran to a spear. We kind of charged him into that. But yeah, minimum casualty for the most part. Archers got us a little bit. A little bit of engaged melee fight got us a little bit, but gonna be mostly healthy. We're not gonna gift it to Cao Cao. Sorry. We're also not gonna occupy. I think I want the income plus the extra loot here. And it's also a piece of land that I think we'll lose in the future. So our loot is gonna jump up, but it's not gonna hurt us, and we do want that jump. It's damaged. Let's just let this repair naturally. We don't have to pay. We haven't converted to a bandit building, so That's fine. As long as we get the food balanced, it's no problem. We're gonna rush this because I'm worried about getting attacked. We want our garrison as healed as possible, as quickly as possible. I think we might consider getting the quality up. It does shift our... Like, we lose a range unit, which I guess pros and cons to that. We get more income. The upkeep discount for sword and shield infantry goes way up. I'm not sure how that benefit us in the long run, because I don't think most of our army is going to be sword and shield infantry at all. But we might as well go for it. It's our only source of income, so we're going to try to deal with that. Now, our loot should kick out next turn, and then this will go up to 33. The banish already expired. Yeah, I think across the board, I think that is fine. Let's see if Yuan Shao shows up anywhere near. We'll defend Taiyuan if he does come. And we'll try to start saving up money for another stack. The upkeep for one group of these is around, what is it, 160, 170, let's say, per unit times 6. We're looking at 1,000, 1,020, I think. A little bit less for these. So 1,000 exact, I think. For unit, yeah, 1,000 flat. So we can afford another group. Yuan Shao's second son. We are going to take that because that's part of our former capital's land. It's also undefended, so I think we'll just keep charging this army up after this turn. Sounds good. Cao Cao did not take Gu Pass. Okay, so he's showing up. Taiyuan's upgrade. Chendeng is destroyed. He didn't fight. If he fought, he wouldn't be this healthy. We could cancel the upgrade because it's probably money wasted if we keep it going. We have no cavalry in this force, so it's going to be hard for us to loop the army around. This is not Yuan Shao's army anymore. It's Wen Chou's force. Xu You. We could offensively ambush them here. It would be a fight that we cannot win, or at least it would be very difficult to win. I don't think we can win this fight. The general quality, I think with Wen Chou and Zhang He, not something we can handle. If they come here and fight though, the problem is we can't get back unless we march, and then we'll be fatigued. But that's a fight we can win, for sure. We'll just have to do it. Yeah, we cannot lose Taiyuan. So, let's do it. I know I canceled the upgrade, but I think that's totally fine. There's no rush. We can probably take this first, and then assign underling, and then upgrade it for a lot cheaper. I think this will give him some thought before attacking, and also allow us to save up a bit more money to maybe flush out another group for our son. I think that's okay. We're still not going to fix this. And we'll see if he comes, maybe with a second stack, because we saw them attack with 2 stack earlier. Xu You can be our turncoat. This could change the tide. Now, he's supposed to betray Yuan Shao for Cao Cao, but we can maybe use his help here. 1,000. Don't think it's money well spent, but +4. We want the interference. We can run this twice. It's not going to help us this turn. Plus, with the amount of points we have, he's not going to even join us in the fight. We can't swap him. Nor do I want to swap him. He's not that good. Yuan Shao is still on the field. He's in the army probably behind them. Okay. He'll be useful to us next turn, if there is still a next turn for us. Let's continue. He decided to go into ambush. Now they're still here. And they're coming to take Zhongshan back. That's fine. Zhangjiang's destroyed. Will she join us? Yes, she will. Okay. This is excellent news. She brings the 3 strategies of Duke of Yellow Rock for a little bit of income boost as well. It's always nice to add her. Her rank is way too high. Do we basically ask our son nicely to not be heir anymore? 15% all damage for all forces when attacking is good. Tributaries doesn't really apply to us. I can also just give her a title. But she really want a court position. Or I can just take her item and send her away. But that would be foolish. I think she is quite good. Regardless, she's going to be an expensive pickup. Maybe it's time for a new wife, since she's not very historical either. We marry her and kick her out. Why not? So she's also our general of the right. That complicates things a little bit. And we spend 2,000 marrying her, which also messes things up a little bit. If we kick her out straight up, we have to divorce her regardless. She's going to stick on this tree, even if we... It's going to cost an extra 1,000 to divorce. She's also currently married. I can also ask... I have to ask... So basically it costs us 4,000? It costs us 4,000 to get this marriage through, which is something we don't have to rush now because we can't afford it. Zhangjiang, how do we get this to work? We're running way negative. She has to be heir. I think that's the only way it will work. But the moment I take him away from our heir position, he's gonna want to leave for sure. And plus, he's giving a lot of authority points. Maybe the best solution is just take her items and just let her go for now. She's already lame. Don't let her break our happy family. I think, yeah, I think that's it. That's it. The temptation is we just take her axe. It's fine if we don't get the bonus. Give it to maybe our son. Actually, no, we should take it. No, we should give it to our son. Let him have fatigue immunity as well. We'll take her horse. I will also take her item. And then we'll send her on her way. Like, aside from the 15% all damage, there's nothing here that's good either. We could potentially banish her for a decent fund increase. Full refund on the recruitment. Alright, so there's an ambush army nearby. That makes things a little bit iffy. I think we stay put. We put the money to good use by recruiting a full stack again. She's still our general of the right. I can give her her item back, or give her a different item because it's on cooldown. We'll probably end up giving her this once it comes back, but right now we'll give her this. Just to boost her satisfaction. She's super happy that we didn't switch wives. Give it to our son, a unit of troops. Because he's also above rank 3, so we can pick up the spear units. It's all our income, but I think we need it. We need to fight off Yuan Shao's 2 armies. Because it's looking like he might come, and then we have to fight both off. What can we do with our spy? He has a little bit of points now. We know where his army is. We can... we don't need line of sight. We just need to damage them. They can't replenish anyways because they're in my land. Increase their chance of being ambushed. And we can get night battle with them regardless of circumstance. A little bit of damage first. The ambush part we can do before we decide to attack them. This turn they either come to us or they don't. Ventral's army is the one we want. Alright. Now we just stay put. They're gonna double team us. He's ambushed over there. He's trying to get supplies. We have to hit them before they join together. They might be in reinforcement range because they get the extra extended range, which is really annoying. We got our extra movement. They might very well be in reinforcement range of each other already. The general health, we took down a chunk of the general's health with the poison. That is very good. We can do it again. We can even do it on Yuan Shao's army. Because we had vision of them. Alright. So I think what we're going to do is try to fight them off. And hope they can't reinforce it. I mean, we should have night battle. Yes, we do. So we can eliminate that threat of reinforcement, even if they do have it. We're going to take another 15% campaign movement. We don't extract. He retreated. Okay, that's a great sign. Offensive ambush. Decisive victory. Well, we outnumber them 2-1. We pull the garrison as well. We want the garrison to help, obviously. We even have capture rate on them. Wow. Huh, the name didn't come through from the English mod to translate the items. But this should be a good fight for us, for sure. They have 2 range units. Everyone else is infantry. We rush that and try to rout them. So that's where night battle might come in handy, but the reinforcements... Let's use the reinforcements. Oh, we shouldn't have used... Yeah. For ambush fight, reinforcement comes in 3 minutes later. So they're not actually going to show up. We gotta get used to this. So night battle would have been better. We would have hurt their morale by 15 points. No trees. What an ambush. As you can see, 180 seconds. Cavalry's at the end. Interesting. We rush the cavalry with the spear. We ignore their front. If they can run away, they can run away. It's fine. We're just going to try to do as much damage as we can since this is a second fight. They retreated once. Therefore, they're going to get all wiped at the end anyways. We don't have to sweat it. Where's Mom? We don't want to kill our spy. I don't really care about everyone else. We're just gonna hit these. I guess we hit all the infantry. The general hit these. The most important thing is we hit the cavalry. Alright, start. Sandwich them. Decline, decline. Don't mess up our timing. Actually, just fight, fight. Charge, charge, charge. Stop them from shooting. We basically get a flank on every group. Should kill them fairly quickly.
你等可是贪生怕死之辈。
你言辞粗鄙，我当原样奉还。
敌军四散而逃，到底是无胆鼠辈，加快脚步。
Yeah, they all have gold weapons too, so it's not an easy fight here. We want to just keep harassing them and give the bonus. Peel one away. Don't chase. Don't over chase. Fight the other group. Cavalry fight's gonna be interesting. I think we have to just peel back. Maybe form a line. Get the axe units going. Peel one away. We're probably just gonna have to go hammer them to death here. Kill the general with the general, but not in a duel. Give it to anyone. Group boost. We should have healed ourselves, then we can get all three, but I think it's fine. The cavalry will bounce back. We're ready for it. Just gotta shield our other infantry from their cavalry. And then push them into the fight. Take Zhang out here, please. If you're stuck on the other side, maybe go get that. We have good weapons. Alright, they're done. Push out. Stick with that. Chase that away. Alright, try to get some flanking angles there. Cavalry's destroyed. Zhang is about to fall. Thanks to Zhengjiang's axe. Pick up that unit. Alright, we'll swarm this guy. Nice. Alright, pick on Wen Chou. We'll keep our spy alive because he can still poison Yuan Shao's army. Alright, their units have collapsed. Our reinforcements here, hooray! Should have just gone without them. Alright, Wen Chou is also down. We have to hit you a couple times. We'll make sure you live. Don't worry, just gotta let you look like you fought. Send you back as a turncoat. Come on, army loss. Don't make me hit you for real. Oh, there we go. He's good. Are you sure? Okay, he's gonna army loss. Alright. Still was a pretty costly fight overall. Especially with Yuan Shao's army looming. I hope the poison did a number on his unit. Capture? Anyone? Wen Chou. Execute. We want the items. And do we really want money? I think we want replenishment. The ambush is right here, I think. We have a couple ways to approach this. We could get off this. We can retreat back, which I think is probably the better option. Better heal. Yeah, I think that is the better option. We'll lose Zhongshan, which will put a strain on our economy. But since we're going to lose it, same thing, we're going to downgrade it. Also makes it easier to take back in the future. Alright, we got some new weapons. So instead of using an axe, we're going to be using this gilded mountain carving blade. Obviously no set bonus, but damage is there. We also got a guard from him, which I guess we can hand over here for satisfaction boost. I think she can use our axe next turn. He will bounce back next turn, hopefully with some points, and we can still use him. That's pretty much it. I think we can take it. I don't think his army is going to attack us. Could be wrong. Negative 2.1. He had enough of us. Honestly, it was a little bit too low at 0.4. No thanks. He's backed off, so he is hurt. We can see him injured. Xu Huang's army is also here. They didn't attack it. Okay, we can convert it and keep it then. Our food is not in crisis, which is good. Spies returning. We don't want you. You're much better off. Sun Ce with the backstab. Zhang Xiu being liberated. Wasn't satisfied with his widowed aunt. Anyways, this is a good place to stop, as I think we have beaten back the first wave. We did lose our starting location, but we moved to a much better one. I hope he's bypassing us to go colonize. They did upgrade this to tier 4, so there is technically a wall here, I think, being a small city. We can still go siege that. We want all of Taiyuan, which will make things a little bit tricky with Cao Cao, especially since this is a huge stack as well. But I guess we can maybe recover Yemen first before we go do that. So let's loop our way up, come back down, and see how long this army will stay hidden. Because I think he'll show up again. We might have to deal with it first. We have no economy whatsoever with this army. We're basically going to have to run sort of a battle loot economy. We do have a lot of items, thanks to Zheng Jiang's donation, as well as Ventral's timely death. But we'll move on from here. So until then, bye!